Always see a Streamliner badge, smiles SangYup Lee when describing Hyundai's swoopy new EV sedan, the Ioniq 6. But when the Hyundai design chief shows pictures of classic streamlined vehicles he says inspired the Ioniq 6's design, he isn't playing visual games. The Ioniq 6 doesn't just look aero-efficient, it's one of the most aerodynamic production sedans ever built. Why should you care? Well, good aero doesn't just mean less wind noise. Good aero means it takes less energy to push your car through the atmosphere, and if your car has an electric motor and a battery, that can mean a big boost in range. The Ioniq 6 proves the point. The newest addition to Hyundai's electric car lineup shares its GMP platform and powertrain technology with the highly regarded Ioniq 5. However, Hyundai claims a single-motor, rear-drive Ioniq 6 RWD long range with the 77.4 kWh battery pack has a WLTP-certified range of 382 miles, compared with 315 miles for an Ioniq 5 with the same powertrain and battery pack. Given the WLTP's penchant for optimistic range estimates relative to the EPA, the same Ioniq 5 here delivers 303 miles. Expect that 382-mile figure to drop slightly in America, to perhaps 350 to 360 miles. And of course, just as in an internal combustion engine vehicle, your mileage will vary, depending on how you drive and the ambient conditions. Yet the laws of physics are immutable here. The wind-cheating Ioniq 6 sedan will better the 5's range by 15 to 20%, largely thanks to its aero. Yes, the Ioniq 6 RWD long range is fitted with 18-inch wheels as standard, compared with the 19-incher standard on the Ioniq 5, and it has slightly better e-motor efficiency and powertrain management. However, Hyundai Aero engineer SangYup Lee confirms most of the range improvement comes from the fact the soap bar smooth Ioniq 6 has a drag coefficient, CD, of 0.21, compared with the brick-like Ioniq 5 CD of 0.29. In the EV era, aerodynamic performance is most important, he says. Form and function. The Ioniq 6's low-drag shape is aided by active air flaps in the front bumper, which open only when the battery requires additional cooling, just like in the 5, while vents to either side of them direct fast-moving air to form a curtain over the exterior of the front wheels. A short front overhang like the Ioniq 6's isn't ideal for optimal aero, so dark-colored, inch-wide plastic strips that extend from the lower corner of the front bumper almost one-third the way around the front wheel openings help keep the airflow attached to the car's body sides. The wing at the base of the rear window manages airflow at the rear of the car, and the rear diffuser has been designed to cope with the faster and stronger airflow generated by the Ioniq 6's flat underside. The Ioniq 6 looks even more dramatic in traffic than it does in the design studio. That drooping tail takes a little getting used to, especially from the three-quarter front view, though from the rear it throws off whale tail Porsche 911 vibes. Hyundai's sedan is arguably a better resolved modern streamliner than Mercedes-Benz EQS, which boasts a world-leading CD of 0.20, and the smaller EQE, which has a CD of 0.22. It has a better dash-to-axle ratio and a lower cowl height than either of the big electric Benzes. You notice it the moment you slide behind the wheel. You sit closer to the base of the windshield in the Ioniq 6, and forward visibility is noticeably better, making the car easier to place on the road and maneuver in parking structures. At 191.1 inches, the Ioniq 6 is 3.6 inches shorter overall than the Mercedes-Benz EQE, with a 6.7-inch shorter wheelbase. Yet it manages to feel less claustrophobic in the rear seat than the bigger car, accommodating 6-foot-tall adults with ease and offering better entry and egress. That dramatically falling beltline also means the rear side windows are bigger. For our first drive of the Ioniq 6 on roads in and around Seoul, Hyundai put us in a fully loaded Ioniq 6 AWD long-range model with the 320 horsepower, 446 lb-50 dual-motor powertrain, 77.4 kWh battery, and optional 20-inch wheels. Hyundai says the dual-motor Ioniq 6's extra power and torque, along with the bigger wheels, drops the WLTP-certified range about 16% compared with the single-motor model. That suggests the Ioniq 6 AWD long range will have an EPA range of just over 300 miles. For reference, the EPA-rated range of an Ioniq 5 with an identical powertrain is 256 miles. The earlier EQS and EQE comparisons are apt, because on the road the Ioniq 6 feels very much like a mini-me Mercedes. It's smooth and quiet, as you'd expect of an electric vehicle, but more impressively, it has that hewn from billet steel feel that's a hallmark of the best cars from Stuttgart. The excellent body rigidity, combined with new hydro suspension bushings, new frequency-sensitive variable shocks, and increased axle stiffness, means impact harshness is very well controlled, even on 20-inch rims and low-profile 245/40 Pirelli P0 tires. Pleasantly, the suspension tune is taut, much more so than the Ioniq 5 soft setup. That and the lower center of gravity means the Ioniq 6 hides its mass well when changing direction, with little body roll or corner entry understeer. The steering could do with a touch more feel, not weight. There is a difference, especially because in terms of its overall alertness and agility, the Ioniq SXS chassis has a touch of old-school BMW 3 Series in the way it handles a winding road. As with the steering, the brakes also feel slightly remote, though the handoff between regenerative and mechanical braking is seamless. The 5 different levels of liftoff braking Reagan, controlled via the paddles on the steering wheel, allow you to manually adjust the car to your road conditions and driving style. Level 1 Reagan basically mimics the coast down of an internal combustion engine car with an automatic transmission and is the best for all-round driving. Level 4, labeled I-pedal, gives full one-pedal driving that's ideal for heavy stop-and-go traffic, bringing the 6 to a complete stop without needing to use the brake pedal. And Level 0, which eliminates all liftoff Reagan, allowing the Ioniq 6 to coast, is perfect for easy and efficient freeway cruising. Like in the Ioniq 5, the Ioniq 6 AWD's 2E motors are not identical. The motor at the rear axle develops 221 horsepower and 258 lb-ft of torque, while the front motor produces 99 horsepower and 188 lb-ft. Moreover, the front motor will automatically disengage from the front axles at light loads to improve efficiency. The output differences between the two motors means the Ioniq 6 AWD retains a rear bias in terms of driving dynamics even when you're booting the accelerator. The SXS trio of drive modes, Eco, Normal, and Sport, also carry over from the 5, and each offers a different level of acceleration response that places differing demands on the battery. Normal is ideal for most driving around town and on the freeway. Eco makes the Ioniq 6 feel lethargic and is obviously designed to eke out maximum range when needed. Sport adds noticeable sparkle to the Ioniq SXS response, helping it whoosh from 0 to 60 miles per hour in fewer than 5.0 seconds, and is great for fun-to-drive winding 2 lanes, where the rear-biased instant-on torque punches the Hyundai out of corners. But what about the real-world range? Our drive road comprised a 132-mile loop out of Seoul and back that included quick bursts on winding roads through the mountains near the border with North Korea, bookend by 60 to 70 miles per hour, cruising on freeways and stop-and-go driving on crowded Seoul streets. We started with the crisply rendered graphics on the 12.0-inch digital instrument panel showing the battery at 96% charge and a predicted range of 258 miles, based on the NAV data from the programmed route. The prediction was pretty accurate. We finished with 50% charge in the battery and a predicted range of 130 miles. According to the trip computer, consumption on the hard-driving mountain section averaged 27.3 kilowatt-hours per 100 miles, while the highway cruising and city traffic netted 24.7 kilowatt-hours per 100 miles. On those numbers, given the battery's usable capacity of 72.5 kilowatt-hours, the Ioniq 6 AWD long range should be capable of delivering a real-world range of close to 300 miles in normal driving. The 800-volt electrical architecture of Hyundai's impressive eGMP electric vehicle platform means fast recharging. A fast charger capable of delivering 250 kilowatts or better will take the Ioniq SXS battery from a 10% charge to 80% charge in as little as 18 minutes. A 150 kilowatts charger will need 25 minutes, and a 50 kilowatts charger an hour, to deliver a similar top-up. Both its solid real-world range and fast recharging capability make the Ioniq 6 a very usable EV. Technology that protects and serves. The 12.0-inch touch-sensitive screen adjacent to the instrument panel controls the Ioniq SXS array of communications, infotainment, and vehicle management systems. The Ioniq 6 is the first Hyundai to offer over-the-air software updates that can upgrade e-motor and battery controllers, plus autonomous driving capabilities, NAV system mapping, and media software. To help drivers plan their longer trips, the NAV system will automatically plot the optimal route based on the state of battery charge and will search for charging stations along the way. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are both accommodated, and a Bluetooth multi-connection facility means 2 devices can be paired at the same time, one for phone calls and one for music streaming. The premium audio system is by Bose, with 8 speakers, including a subwoofer. Other tech on board includes the latest iteration of Hyundai SmartSense advanced driver assistance systems. Highway Driving Assist 2 not only combines active cruise control and lane keep assist functions, but will automatically move the car away from traffic that's closing in alongside, and, subject to operational parameters being met, will facilitate automatic lane changes when the turn signal control is activated. The Smart Cruise Control system also can learn your driving style when inactive and will mimic it when activated. Passengers are assisted, too. A warning system will alert rear seat passengers preparing to exit the stopped Ioniq 6 of vehicles approaching from behind. The price is right. Production of Ioniq 6s for the US market is scheduled to begin in January 2023, with the first cars set to arrive in your friendly local Hyundai dealers before mid-year. The entry-level Ioniq 6 RWD standard range will be powered by a 149 horsepower and 258 lb-ft motor and fed by a 53 kWh battery, giving it a slower 0 to 60 miles per hour time of just under 9.0 seconds and a range of about 260 miles. Next up will be the RWD long range with 225 horsepower and 258 lb-ft, grunt enough to get it to 60 miles per hour in about 7.0 seconds, and the 77.4 kWh battery to deliver that headline-grabbing 350 to 360 mile range. The AWD long range will be top of the lineup. No official word on pricing yet, but Hyundai North America sources hint the Ioniq May 6th retail for slightly less than comparably equipped Ioniq 5 models. That suggests prices ranging from just under $40,000 for the entry-level model to about $58,000 for an Ioniq 6 with the lot. If that's the case, or even if the Ioniq 6 is priced the same as Ioniq 5, this Hyundai EV is an absolute steal. From the way it looks, to the way it drives, to the advanced technologies it can put at the disposal of its drivers and passengers, the Hyundai Ioniq 6 is a sophisticated and intelligent electric vehicle, easily outclassing mass-market EVs from the likes of Volkswagen and Toyota and Ford. Its pricing and quality will give Tesla Model 3 buyers second thoughts. Its room and refinement will raise the eyebrows of Mercedes-Benz EQE buyers. This is not just a benchmark EV Hyundai. It's a benchmark compact sedan.